So it's the month of December and it's pretty cold. But we're trying to warm up the futuristic spirit. We're gonna be shivering, we're gonna be grasping for air, and we're not gonna try to cause chaos. Happy holidays if you're celebrating the holidays. Happy day, happy night, happy midday, whatever day you find yourself in. Thank you all for being tuned in. Thank you for being friendly, kind, rude, mean. For the good people out there, the people who are doing it. Thank you, everybody who I met. Yeah. So far, making this recording a bit more interesting, a bit more eye-catching for myself to focus. And it's great. Love it. Soon, eventually, I'll make like a special where I'll make a podcast with a live recording with video. It'll be awesome. It's going to be great. I don't have ideas of... I do have some ideas. What is it exactly that I want to be doing? For sure, it's just going to be me standing with the microphone with some cool visuals in the background. You could probably already imagine it. And this is what I always wanted to imagine. This is what I wanted to be imagining. And now that I have it, it helps a lot. It's helping. It's curing, Creating recordings isn't difficult. I thought it would be difficult, but it's not difficult. There's nothing haunting, nothing bringing you down. Nothing will bring you down. No distractions. Just the focus is balancing in the air. It's riding throughout the air, through the waves of the universe, bro. It's moving out through the galaxy, and it just happens to be in this room right now. It might be a little slow of a podcast, so it won't be as energetic. And if you're ready for that, well, now is the time to be ready. It's December 25th, 2020, man. Doing great, doing well, doing fine, doing okay, like I said already. Can't complain, Holidays are different when you're older. That's for sure. Happy to be spending time with the loved ones. That's for sure. Awkwardness, but there, sorta, Nothing trying to, not trying to bring up anything. Pinche tartamudo, no? Just zoning out, just zoning out and feeling this vibe that we're in right now. It's amazing. I'm digging this right now. I'm zoned out. Imagining so many things right now, dude. So many dope shit. I'm not even on Earth, And when it's natural to be zoned out naturally, just listening to some boards of Canada, everything seems to be more realistic. It feels more amazing. It feels more felt at the moment. It feels more. It feels beautiful. It feels like love. It feels like I'm flying, sorta. It feels like I'm on top of the earth. It's one of those feelings. It feels like all these memories are just bouncing in front of me in orbs. It's like seeing the orbs of your past, and you're wanting to select which one you want to be, what mood you want to look at, what experience you want to see. It's like there's so many bubbles that you want to look at through and see what is it about your past that you're trying to remember, that you want to pick to talk about. And I feel like you could possibly just almost imagine just anything that you can, the bad, the good, the great, the tragedies, the beautiful things about life, the movies, the food. Oh man, just so many things are just popping up. There's like when you're like completely zoned out, you're you don't want to be completely zoned out, right? But I have an hour to kill. I have like an hour starting now, full hour to just be zoned out of my day. You know, it might sound like it's just pure desmadre, but it's more like sort of like visual meditating. It's like visually spacing out. It's visually re type of living your life, sorta. Giving your mind a bit more of that imaginational boost. You know, if you're finding yourself to be like thoughtful throughout the day and overthinking shit, whatever I'm doing right now is easing up that shit. You know, when I put a mirror next to me, I look at it and say, I'm obviously talking to myself. No one indirect. Don't be raising your hand naturally. For those open minders, for those people who are like that opened up in their minds and are letting me borrow your attention for a while. Thanks. Gracias, man. If you're if you're listening in the dark, I'll take this time to look up at the stars. It ain't easy to look up there. It ain't easy to just look up and see what you see. It's not easy to find a day out of your day to look up at the stars. You know, there's so many wonders out there. There's so many things that we still don't know yet. Just experimenting. This room is nice. It's great. You know, and I'm just trying to figure out a way where it's going to be more interesting for myself to be in. try to make it gain its purpose, from what it was before we moved in, you know. Before we moved into this house, this room specifically, it was a child's room. It was a kid's room, you know. I bought a half of a twin bed size bed was inside this room. There's a lot of history to it. We're adding more history to it, you know. It's okay if you add history to your room, to your place, you know. It's okay to be influenced or be thinking almost the same thing where you're adding history to the things that you're doing, you know. It is something that I should not be thinking or saying, but it's like one day, once someone's gonna be a dope artist lived here, you know. Someone who created some dope shit lived here, and this is all the space he needed to create some dope shit. This is the space where he decided to be creative. This is a space where he started a podcast without even wanting to do one. It accidentally sort of bounced in his hands, you know. And with the ability of teaching himself art and digital art, and with help of people, it just happened to happen, you know. It ain't no, it ain't nothing great. It's like, it's something dope, man. It's something where it's like, yo, I'm ready for the next bigger step, you know. I'm ready to almost go on a full blast, you know. I've been so relaxed, sort of, sometimes, you know. There's things that obviously get me upset or sort of kind of get you, sort of, what's that word? Sort of gets you upsetting, you know. It gets you perhaps angry, frustrated. And honestly, from the past, month, 2 months, you could see the effects of water that do to you, you know. When they say you feel more, you don't feel more from the heart as much, you know. When you drink water, you feel more of your body. You feel the effects of soda. You feel the effects of coffee. You'll pay more attention to the substances that we intake, you know. We start paying attention to how relaxing you can be on a tight situation, you know. How it's not that you're not paying attention. It's the fact that you're not overreacting in tight situations. You're letting go of all that stress and listening, you know. You're paying attention to the many ways you could be acting up, like, right? You're paying attention to all these shits and all these plays in your mind where it's like, oh, it could go in the bad direction easily. You know? You also have to see the parts where it could be misleading, you know. We don't all understand each other, sort of, you know. There might be some people who might relate to what I'm saying, basically. Artists will perhaps have an idea. Creative people might have an idea of what the hell I just said for like the past minutes. if you're feeling space, if you're feeling the universe and shit like that, if it attracts you and you attract it and you let it shine inside a small space in your room, you'll know for sure that, you know, if you're narrowing down all these things into one small place, you'll know that you'll feel a lot bigger, you know. You put more importance to your life. And although for me, I might not be acting as I'm, like, happy or sad or not showing any emotion. Overall, besides the phase that I might be going through, it's a lot of appreciation. It's rare for me to eat a lot. It's rare for me to say I'm down for a tamal. It's rare for me to say I'm down to eat that, as in food wise. It's rare when you ask for something, when you drink a soda and you want another one. That's something beautiful when you know what you want. You're not just numb or hurt or traumatized or any way it might be seemed. Overall, it's just showing how strong I am, how strong you guys are making me, or how strong, again, how strong you're becoming, basically. There's music that's reminds me of space, reminds me of not being in this room. I feel like I'm up there. I feel like I'm up there for sure. I could almost see that I feel like a giant. I feel like I'm tall, I'm huge. I feel like I have the universe in my hands, man. That's how it feels right now. It could be really exciting, It's freezing, that's for sure. It's cold weather, It's cold enough where the only way to warm up is for you to start moving around. Start shaking it off. That's the only warmth there is. There's planets. There's bright shit across, far away. You could barely see the small stars, man. You could barely see like the gases are just flowing. You're just like glazing up at the sky, sorta. You're just up there. And someone out there is almost thinking the same thing. It's a big space, man. It's a lot, man. All this material, well, I'm not gonna go too deep into material things, but it could help. It could help you think like that. Open up your imagination so much, man. It could almost like cleanse you. It could almost clean you. It could clean you so much. When it comes to like being alone in space, not that bad. It's not that bad. That's depending on how you want to describe it, Space is nice, man. Space is beautiful. It's pretty nice, man. It's pretty beautiful, like I said. It's like if I stop moving, I'm gonna go cold for sure. I gotta start like moving back and forth, back and forth. I gotta somewhat do a squat and shit. I'm not gonna just hold still and be frozen with amazement and just let my body go cold, that's the last thing you want to feel, You don't need no bright shoes to be warm. You don't need no expensive shoes to be warm. Money is needed for yourself to be more amazing, to be rewarding the life that you got and what ways that you want to appreciate it. If only if don't always work out, if it's just putting like a weird obstacle. Working ain't that bad depending on what type of job you got. It's hard to spend money when you start growing and you're kind of sort of taught, and you're taught to not spend so much, right? It's sometimes hard and difficult to spend it. We have this idea that it's gonna make us go back to broke. How would you spend $1,000 if you had a choice to let's say you paid off the rent already? What's gonna help you focus again for the next time to do it? What's gonna help you realize what's worth making you more untouchable, man, basically. Not trying to compare to anything. Of course, it's not a competition. You go outside and you see many cars. In the street, you see many cars. You might see vans, buses, motorcycles. You see all kinds of vehicles, airplanes, boats, rocket ships, satellites, all types of vehicles, man. Vehicles are amazing, man. From skateboards to fucking bikes to surfboards, rollerblades, all that shit. And you need money. Let's say you have $1,000. How would you make your body feel different? How would you appreciate $1,000? What would you spend on $1,000? On something small? On something big? On something to make your knowledge stronger? To make yourself stronger? Your soul more stronger? Things that are gonna help you forget? Will you buy drugs? Will you buy materialistic things? Will you buy a certain type of food? Will you buy shoes? Will you buy a new phone? Will you buy like a notepad and some pens? Will you buy something that completely makes you different from other people? What do you, or would you just give it away? Would you just not take the money, right? Although it is in the whole world where we need money to survive, you know, it's like use it, I guess, to go against it, sorta. You wanna use it to be more of yourself. Help it be yourself. Heal yourself, man. I do have these like thoughts of buying weed. But when you're sort of natural on it, when you're so natural on that, It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to get it. It's not easy to just go get it. It's not easy. It could be easy. I'm making it sound like it's impossible to get it. Some people are out there purchasing it right now. It's that easy, of course. But if I'm wanting to talk about it, like if it's hard to get it, I'll make it hard for myself to get it. I'll make it impossible for me to get it. I'm not gonna go get it. I'm not gonna go get weed off $1,000. Everybody's different. We're all different. I think we're all gifted in a way. There could only be one version of you, just like one version of me. It's hard to imagine that the things that you wanted when you're small, you're eventually getting it when you're mid-adult. You're getting it, and it's like, that's what I want. That's what I need. That's what I need for my imagination to boost up. And now I'm sort of like drying out. Just like sort of the child inside of you is speaking, and it's like, what, I need that, Omar. I need that, bro. And it's like saying, what, man, we work hard for it. I work hard for it. Let's get it. Let's get that. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's like the adult person inside of you disciplines the kid so much, man. It's amazing. It's amazing how sometimes you see shit like that, right? When you find yourself in a high altitude place, you're gonna look up one day, man, when it's clear sky. It's gonna give you an idea what they used to say before the pollution. That all these constellations are up there, or all these ancestors are up there. And when you have it in front of you, man, you feel like you're there. When you have it there, you'll see why. You'll see why, man. It's gonna bring up some dopest. Oh, you can't even explain it to people, man. It's one of those things where you have to go for it. You have to go see it. And it's one of those things that's like a must. It's one of those things that you must do. So with those $1,000 or 1,000 things or 1,000 money thing, whatever, I got myself my childhood back, sorta. I got something that's gonna make me want to do art. Wants to make me talk more differently. Makes me want to look up again. Makes me want to resist to all the bad thoughts. Resist to like depression. I know it's there. People go through it. It's normal. It's like normal feelings and shit, right? It's not easy to find an easy solution being sober. But once you know that's like a temporarily thing, right? It's not always gonna be there. And when you know it's there, and happiness is like, you tend, when you're like happy, sober, you'll eventually see why people don't talk about it. It's a process. It's not going to be fun. It's not fun. If you make it fun for you, you'll perhaps make it fun for someone else. Someone who's trying to get out of shit, But the coolest thing, man, is like I said, when you're working and you're not doing drugs, you're on that track where you're like, there's something wrong with you. It's like you're too sober. You're too much paying attention to what's going on. You're resisting from quitting a job. You're what's up with that? No one really lasts this long. What's going on? If they knew the shit that I buy with their money, sorta, right, from a small business, family owned business, not the property. They want to know what's keeping you alive. They want to know the secrets of what's making you come back and wanting to keep working. Or pretend that you're not there, because when you're at home, it's the best place to be at. You're having that excitement of going to this new place again. It feels like this place is adding more history to the room, like I mentioned before. It's like the kid who lived here had this like SpongeBob wallpaper on the side with SpongeBob and Patrick. It was kind of like a weird vibe. It was like a weird vibe when you move into a kid's room. And time changes, so it's not always going to be the same thing. This is a studio. I could happily call it like a studio. If I have visitors here, you'll see it. Why? You'll see why. And we're not here to be like crazy. We're here to be wanting to be different people. We want to be heard. We don't want to be forcing no one to listen to us. We're not forcing no one to listen to us. We always mention you have that option of stopping the video and skip it. Go find something else to do. Go do something that's gonna, I don't know. There's always that option of disciplining yourself, of saying, that's enough of what I just heard. Let's go do my part. Let's go do the things that I like to do. It's gonna be that almost self-awakening part. I'm not even sure what to call it. But if I'm finding myself through this shit, of this recording, of the things that I'm buying, I'm not forcing no one to hear me. I'm not forcing no one to say, hey, go hear what I said, or go hear what they said. I do have some recordings with other people here, or segments, interviews. I'm not saying, it might be confusing. It is something weird. Everybody's different. Everybody's different on the microphone. It's like someone recording you in public. There's this weirdness of not knowing what to do. But naturally, we're gonna defend ourselves and shit, right? But I'm guessing this recording makes me just want to sort of just be free. It's making me want to keep pushing it. Keep going for it. And I have to say it. I have to say that for me to realize it. For me to realize what I'm trying to do. And it's hard for one day for yourself to catch yourself to say that, to say that you want to keep moving forward. You're not trying to be stuck with pasts. You're not trying to be back there. It's sort of like if you would be happy standing up, if you're standing and you could somewhat close your eyes, or just imagine yourself stepping, or an image in your mind where it's all right, what am I doing? So let's say you have a third eye, right? I'm not going through all any scriptures, so I'm just putting like in my own words, sorta, right? I'm not trying to go over anybody's spiritual type of idealistic ways of seeing it, but it's like, it's the point where you're free, where you're like separating your body into a visual spirit that's behind you, you know, and it's somewhat guiding you, you know. It becomes something, you know, you're becoming someone, you know, you're becoming something great, you know, maybe for others, but overall, for yourself, you know. Yeah, it could be like someone can be pointing things out of your life and say, well, that ain't true. There's so many versions of things that might be interrupting it, you know. It's not easy, you know. Someone would always gonna come up with something weird, you know. I see it as in the internet, as, you know, it's a tool. You know, it's a tool, you know. It was never meant to be a hobby. You know, it's like it's not meant for no one, for everybody, you know. It's not meant for no one. You know, it's one of those things where you could use it for good things or bad things, as in for self-satisfaction or self-possession, right? If not everybody has access to the internet, you know, not everybody uses the internet. You know, I'm opening up my mind to the point where people in Mexico, almost the pueblo, have access to it, you know, but they pay like 10 pesos for like 5 minutes, you know, so they have to make it work. And people here in LA, and perhaps some places so similar to it, they might be overusing it. You know, they might be looking up some weird shit. You know, they might be getting entertained the wrong way. You know, they like all that crazy shit, right? All that violence and funny people hitting each other, funny videos and stuff like that, or just farts in general. You know, farts and boogers and shit. You know, but if you're using the internet to help you be yourself, you know, the internet's gonna look for you, you know. People who have this different mentality of being on the internet will be different. You know, it's like, what's their motivo to be on the internet, you know? It's like, if you want people to have access to your visuals, to your life, to your stories, to your pictures, your videos, to the things you like, you know. You know, someone on the internet said that, you know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and all these apps, the social media is like a video game, you know. You tap, you tap, you tap until you're satisfied, until you find yourself that you're satisfied, you know. And somewhat it is a video game, you know. You're on your phone. You know, video games almost is like you're in control of this monito, of this person, of this creation, of this, and like, it's exactly like a video game. There's different types of video games. There's obviously the most common, the most well known is violent video games. You know, war, shootings, fighting games. There's a lot of creative games, you know, where you're building shit. You know, you're feeling like if you're God, right? You're feeling like you're trying to, like, it's the only place where you feel like you're in control of people, you know? And when it's not about that in video games, you could always be like, use it to be creative, you know. It's a small computer where you could do anything in your hands. You can almost just do almost anything. And yeah, it is scary knowing that they keep track of the things that you search. You know, that might be people who don't have shit to do and use it for bad things. You know, yeah, there is such thing as a dark web. There is the internet. Itself. Um, there's so many good things on the internet. There's always, there's something that I always question myself. There's something that's gonna has me thinking sometimes. That's like, why are we so desperate for likes? Why are we so desperate for that? Why is it that Instagram is being, why is it programmed that way? Why is it that way? It's like almost 10 years old, man, and it's still the same way. It has some minor changes, and it's like you have to see it as a program, as a program. You have to be smart enough to say, if you were able to edit Instagram to your way, how would it be? Would it be where the only thing you want to be searching there is something motivational, something that's gonna make you motivate yourself to keep going for that idealistical success? I don't know what the fuck I just said, but you know what I'm saying. Something where you search and you say, I feel good about myself doing this. You make it seem like when you open it, you'll be on top of the world, sort of kind of thing. Makes you feel like you're free, right? And this app is old already. It's like, it's weird. It's funny. There's always going to be some weird Instagram names, just like gamer tags. It's exactly the same thing, man. It's funny, man. It's so funny. It's funny how you see these different types of Instagram names, and it just makes you want to laugh. There's like gamer tags, and they make you want to laugh too. There is some like offensive gamer tags. There's some like weird. It's like, how do you want to be called on Instagram? What is it that you're making from Instagram? What's your idea? What is it that you're living by on Instagram? The title of it means a lot. It's like on Xbox, on video game world, it's the same thing. What do you want to be called? It's like an identity, sort of. What do you want to be called? It's like, do you want to be called like this and this and that, or Noob 108 and shit like that, right? You want to be called artistical gun, stuff like that. You want to be Arte Locura on video games. It's like, and it's like what? It's like, you want to be called Arte Locura on video games, and it's like, wait, what? It's like, because they're having a chance that they're playing with you. You're giving them a chance to be played, to play with you. You know, it might sound like boring, but it's like as unique as you are in the real world, it's like you're playing with people, and it's like you're sort of like an artist in this video game world, and it's like somewhat advertising your Arte Locura name there, And if you're using this Xbox, PlayStation, this Switch, and you're advertising it that way, it's different. It's not the same. There's people who follow you on these video game worlds, They follow you because they like the way you play. They have respect for you. And I'm not sure if I talked about this before. There are people who are gonna be egotistic and basic thing, talk a lot of negative things about it, about you, and it's funny, it's funny, and for sure I let them know, everything you say is good content. It's always gonna be good content, It's a good content, man. And I laugh. It's like I take games seriously to the point where I look for the bullies in there, But I'm not trying to be all focused and zoomed in when I am looking for them. I gotta be as in realistic, I gotta be like, it's like zoning out. It's just a video game, And, video games is not almost for anybody, it's not for everybody. Instagram's not for everybody, It's you'll see the uniqueness in video games when you play. You play differently. You play differently as much as you post things that are different. It's amazing. It's different. It's always different the way you're gonna be talking and what's the reason to be talking a certain way. No reason. It's just naturally finding a natural way to talk. Just with the right things, with that right money, $1,000, I would say, buy the things that are gonna make you feel different, talk different, sound different. Consider the weather. Consider the people around, the right ones. Consider the next day. Consider 2 days, 3, 4. The things that we eat, the things that I eat, the water that's been doing great for the different emotional levels and shit. And you'll be good. You'll be finding yourself being focused on the movie again. It is a 2 hour, and you'll find something different about a movie. It's so weird that it's like we're almost connecting. It's almost like if we know, like we exactly know what we're saying, what we're talking about. I always gotta mention this: recording's not for everybody. It's not for all of the people that are out there. And if they happen to be stuck in here, if they happen to be focused on, hopefully he does not mention things, right? If it's on that side, you're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong mindset. You're not doing well, No one here feels that way, No one here feels that way. And we leave it there. We leave it there, and we won't add more energy to it. We won't bring it up. We have to justify. We have to make it clear. I have to make it clear. I have to make it look like. Not make it look like. I have to clarify. have to find a way where it's nice and right to be, straightforward and real, you know. There's it could be so many things out there, as you're comfortable in space, as you're up there in the middle of nowhere, you know, in the middle of nowhere, and you're seeing stars and shit glazing. You could be in the room where I'm at, different, and it's like about diesel here. People are different here. You know, they sense the love around here. They know that love is around there. They know that being happy is sometimes the key. Sometimes but sometimes they know that something is going on here. They know that when they see you, it's like, what's going on? It's like you're naturally interesting. You're naturally lurking people to see you naturally. It's like, and when you pay attention to that, you have nothing to hide. You have nothing to say because of this, because of that. Let me take a drink of my water because I'm almost done with it. It's a gallon. I have to go get another one. I drank like 2 cups of coffee and it's like nothing, just didn't do anything. What is it about the coffee that I'm drinking that is affecting me? It's like, what is it about it? There's different kinds of coffee and it affects different ways. Let me go ahead and drink some water, clear up my throat. But it's nice to have water. It's always nice to have water. But it's getting cold. It feels cold over here. Now when you're up in the stars, it's always cold. So find a way to warm up, man. Move side to side like a crazy maniac, like a loco, like a maniaco. Find a way to shake it off. Just find a way to just move that blood flow. It freezes up just like the sugar does. You find yourself stretching out. And when you notice that you're going colder, bro, the only way to go is being warm up here. Boards of Canada is one of those musicians, artists that really make me want to, like, dude, move forward, move beyond and reach some limits, set some limits, so no one could, like, so no one could get to me. I'm trying to, like, I'm trying to, like, be in this, trying to be, like, unreachable. It's like, what kind of art do I do? It's like, no one's gonna ever try to replicate it. They could do it. It's not easy to go and do the things that I do. It's not, and I couldn't imagine everybody has their same way of saying it, but because I'm able to just talk about it and upload it it almost feels like it's more realistic, more real. It's not always like that, it's difficult being a different human being, I imagine, and the fact that it's never gonna happen, you know, it's weird. It's weird that you're just gonna be you for a certain time, you know, and yeah, it is like it's weird, man. It's unique art. The your craft is unique. It's only you could do it. You know, it's easy to people to be unfocused. It's easy to be distracted from doing it. You know, I'm fucking distracted right now. From just being standing here and trying to be warm. Not no bullshit. Not nothing stupid. Just I don't know, man. I need some ambient music. I need something more relaxing. I need something that's gonna make me maybe some water, more water. When you feel the water, you'll notice. And that's where I don't even know what time it is. And just like that, we're almost gonna hit a 1 hour mark. It went by so fast. And it's funny how I was talking sort of mellowed, and the hour just went by fast. Some days I'll catch myself talking too fast, and it's like the hour already passed by. Just a different tone. Just a different tone. People like when. Well, I like it when I'm like this. It's nice. It's great. Just sort of doing my thing. Just happy that I got a small space to do it. I got a place where I could be myself, all the time, It is hard to show people what I'm doing, but because the first thing that I want to do is for people to sort of have this idea well, man, it's like what I've been thinking about listening, What is it that I've been visualizing and not actually seeing what's happening? It's like building up that imagination, bro. Carnala, People don't see it that way. Some people might put up some stories in their minds of like, oh, you could be doing this and this and right. But overall, man, it just feels like this is right. This is just right. What I'm visually seeing right now is just right. It's just how I naturally, for myself, for what I'm doing, is naturally building to that focus of, I don't fucking know, man. It's like, how would you describe your mind? How would you basically how would you basically describe your mind if it's in a visual world, and you can only do like a slight percent of it? And yep, and that's, once you're zoned out for a while, and once you're zoned out, you have to slowly transition it into like an office. Slowly transition that shit into like what's before being zoned out and hopping onto the normal reality, of letting your body sleep for what's coming up the next day. I have to make sure I snap out of it for a bit in a slow way, that using other materialistical stuff is gonna help me come back to that reality slowly. And just see the fact that, it will be like a perfect upload. It's gonna be a perfect way for people who are gonna want to search for that. I haven't described it how it is, the process of it. No one would ever understand it. It's like, it's funny that the only way, I understand it. It's like easy. It's easy for me to understand it. And it's like, it's easy for me to understand and go to that transition of being zoned in to and being spaced out, to make it feel like it's a session, a recording, and I gotta find a way. Not even finding the way, but do what's more natural now is uploading the record. Upload the next mi arte. I have to now work on uploading it in a fun way. It's not easy. It used to be like recording it and just like sort of okay for fun, right? But now it's like this imagination attached to that fun. It's like, I don't know how to describe that shit, man. When you're doing your thing, man, and you're zoned in, you want to find a way where it eases you into the reality. It's like you want to find a way where it's gonna ease you out on reality and bring you back to that normality, or whatever it's called. It's like, if one day you make fun of someone's word of creating words, man, that's how words are made. They're just creating words. They're making up words, and it's like, well, I feel like that's how I would describe it. The normality. That's probably like a word. But if it isn't, well, it's like basic reality, sort of. And let me go ahead and describe it, what I'm looking at. There's like this like light through the computer, which is like illuminating the desk, and it's like almost wanting me to say, let's close it up, let's wrap it up, let's get ready for bed, sort of. Let's get ready for the next day. What's the next process, what's the next step. Well, the next step, if I end it right here, will be, well, sit down, obviously, end the recording, save it, create an illustration, attach that to a long video, export it, upload it, and leave it. Don't worry about it, and do another one. And that's how it is. It's like, well, you talked about it. It was a dope therapy session for you. and what's been so easy for you to do, you know. It's it's not easy. It's not easy, man. It's like I taught myself, you know, I taught myself to do it. The hardest thing is to sort of forget, you know, because you already know how to do it. You know, it's like the hard thing to do it is to teach it to someone, you know. The hard thing to do it is to be consistent with it, you know. When you're doing good and you're consistent with like a recording and it's fun, you know, and you feel like you're doing great and shit, you know, you feel like you're doing nice, you're doing you're doing yourself a good favor of relaxing, you're just talking, and it's like, you know, this is like why I want to make another one, you know, I want to feel better, you know. Like imagine there was no microphone, you know, imagine one day you figure out that's like, oh shit, you just talk for an hour by yourself. That's some crazy shit, you know. So now it's like sort of being uploaded, and it feels like a podcast. You know, it feels like a recording. It's not. No one can do it. You know, it's like when you see people on the street and they're talking by themselves. That's crazy. You know, that's weird. I don't blame them. You know, drugs might be some part of that. You know, mental health might be part of that, or and some other shit attached to it. You know, but the whole point, I guess, is not to be pointing out what could be. You know, it's just like letting it be is like sort of the sort of like the goal, right? Of it's like almost saying what do you want to eat today, you know? But what do you want to talk about today, you know? What is it about talking that's gonna make you feel like you're you, I guess, you know? And it's important, you know. It's always important to talk. You know, it's always nice to notice how you talk. It's always nice to notice the emotions. You know, it's always nice to notice the tone. You'll learn a lot. You know, you'll definitely learn a lot. You know, for sure these are not like continuations from past podcasts, right? What? Let me go ahead and describe that and be clear. This is not like an ongoing podcast where I'm thinking about last podcast or the last week's podcast or the last year's podcast. It's like, nah. It's like what happened that time. That's what I said, I guess. You know, it's like, you know, it's like, I could only set up a good example as in you go on a bus ride, and you had this duty of you have to describe everything you saw, exactly everything your eyes are looking at, even the corner of your eyes, the things you're not focused on, right? The color of things, you have to focus what you saw. You have to focus on what made you feel the ways that you see things. You know, what is it that a car made you feel? A billboard, you know, what kind of things are making you say things? You know, what is it that, you know, it's gonna be impossible to always be that detail. You know, there's levels of detail in this, right? There's levels of different kinds of details, man. Details is amazing, but once you know, it's not always about details or minuscule details or half-assed details, quién sabe, man. It's like, as long as I'm not doing anything, anything that's gonna get me into trouble, I'm good, I'm not trying to get myself into any trouble. We're not trying to get no one into any trouble. I think that's somewhat of the goal of being making the podcast. We're not trying to get no one to go do a maldad, right? We certainly look like we do something, right? And we just do each other. We do ourselves. we do our we do us, sorta, right? I do me, I do what makes me happy, It's hard for people to find that, it's hard for people to find that, it's hard, it's different. And then when you're, they say when you find your passion, it's like you're not gonna do nothing else besides working for it, right? Or adding so much time, as much as you can, towards it. Talking's not my passion, and saying whatever I gotta say is not my passion either. My passion is art. My passion is able to find ways where I could say, "Oh, that was a dope trip. That was a dope experience of being alive and able to get things to make that happen again," right? With the help of some materialistical things, it's gonna be like that, and it's like, fuck yeah, it's dope. There's gonna be a group of people. Everybody's has access to the internet, like I said, but not no one's gonna be like, there's gonna be a small percentage gonna be, I disagree. There's gonna be some people who are gonna be like, I agree to disagree, and it's like some people will say, I totally agree, and there's gonna be a small group of saying, yo te entiendo, pero no sé lo que estás diciendo, There's gonna be like all these types of people, all these kinds of people. It's like it's a gamble. It's like, I'm not trying to find where I fit in this world neither, man, because this is where I fit. This is where I feel like I'm comfortable. You see a lot of things and you hear things, you talk about things, you wish you could talk about things, and when you can't talk about things, you feel things, you think about things, you overthink things, so many things, man. It's like the brain's amazing, man. It's crazy, that one day we're just gonna seize. I'm not trying to traumatize myself nor no one else. It's just like, it's optional. Again, it's always optional. And like I said, money is great. You need money to buy food, right? You need money to pay rent, the basic things, But once that's out of the way, what's the next thing to be putting money into? It might be like creating a business, right? It's gonna be like a collective. You have to create a collective now. You have to. What is it that you wanna do with your? It's like, I'm lucky enough that I love painting. I love creating. I love imagining, and it just works for me. It's like, well, if I save a couple bucks for my art and my creation, and I feel like I could make it that way, I'm most definitely gonna push it that way. And there's people out there who has that ganas of doing things like that, man, and it's like, I would want that for everybody, But man, it's like, it's not always gonna be like that. It's like, there's gonna be that natural world who, there's gonna be another podcaster who's gonna want that for you too. It's like, I imagine. If you're here lost, I'm lost too, but I got this motivo of being lost with. I got this creation of saying I'm sort of lost, I'm enjoying it, but what's the next thing? And it only comes when it's like I'm drinking water and I feel that way. I feel like I'm able to think clearly of why I said certain things, why, and not trying to be stuck, I'm not trying to be, and that's what art does. That's what painting does for me. That's what being creative does, man. And just knowing that about you, where you could forget whatever scenario happened, whatever things did not happen, art's always there. As in, it helps you forget, helps you. Although it's like a sacrifice, man. It's like if you're surrounded by a group and you have to do art to forget about a moment, it's the wrong place to do art, right? But it's like do something in your own time to forget. It's hard to be social. It's not easy. But man, I feel like I'm repeating myself a bit. I feel like I'm repeating myself. It's not bad. It's not bad. You know. It's like, yeah, of course, there's gonna be a group out there who's gonna say, "Ooh, we cannot make everybody a leader." We can't make someone a leader. Some group people will say, "I don't feel like a leader," and we can't make everybody a billionaire. There'll be no value in anything. We can't give everybody a car. That would be impossible. If everybody had a car, this whole place would be fucking filled up with cars. We can't make anybody. We can't make the whole world creative. We can't really do that. Yeah, and it just takes time. It takes time to find out. Well, it's easy to find those people, but I feel like Instagram is like not the place to find them. It's not a place to find them. Naturally they're gonna find you. If I want to make this process faster, I'm gonna have to search it. I have to go look for it. It's like I have to go, like I said, go look for it. I have to go look for it. If I know what I want, sort of like a goal. If I want to like not work and make this like and make these like dope ass recording something that I want to do, sell paintings and create art and make that my living thing, which I could. It's easy. And if I tell myself it's easy again, it's most likely to happen. I'm most likely to get it. It's like you're gonna find people who, I'm gonna find people who are gonna want that for themselves, for me, for each other. Man, one day you're gonna be tired of being poor. You're gonna be tired of being poor. But only through that you'll see why you're putting so much effort. So some people get it fast. They get it fast. This is kind of like a timeline. This is kind of like time. This is just like waiting for time, waiting for it. This process might take a little bit longer. This is the longest process, I think. If it's like urgent, que me urge, like desperate and desperate, it might become super super desperate. Quién sabe? Who knows, man? The world is different. The world would always constantly change. What is it that I want to do? Before I go out. I'm not ending this thing in the tragedy, right? I'm not trying to say my last goodbyes, right? Fuck no. And I see myself doing another recording, because of those $1,000. It's gonna help me do another recording, you know. And like I said, man, it's available for people to just click on it. It's like it's available. You have to be over 18, so somewhat you have like a responsible ear. You're responsible. You're an adult. You know what you're getting yourself into. I don't put it just for kids. It's not for kids. It's definitely not for kids. It's not gonna be like something where, for childish people. It's not gonna be like, when you're an adult and you feel like, it's like it's for mature people who are gonna think things in a mature way. It could always, that could always mean different for different people. That could always be different, a different meaning for. There's always meanings for different types of meanings. There's diferentes maneras de verlo. As long as I'm more comfortable with the way I'm saying it, that's what should matter the most. Not being under no influence and saying it is definitely a way to go. Not influenced by drugs or what I used to like, alcohol, or what I used to like doing, weed. This is the best way to say that, to say that, and to keep doing that soberness. It's a boring thing, and it pays off. It's paying off well, knowing that I'm thirsty for water. Pero quién sabe, quién sabe, bro. There's so many possibilities out there in the stars, but there's so many stars out there. At one point in time, I thought I was born in Saturn. Pero, it's one of those things where it's like, well, who knows? Uno nunca sabe. But it's like logically the most basic things, I come from, parents, from the nutsack. Just to be like funny, It's like being awake to the point where you start hearing crickets. And that's the only way I could leave it at. It's like if you paid attention to detail, if you're one of those kids when you were young and you're like, fuck man, I could always hear that vacuum cleaner, I could always hear that shit. It's like I'm not hearing it until you hear it, and like someone's vacuuming their rug, your dope ass rug and shit. You'll be like, I don't hear it, and then you stop and listen for it. You're gonna, you're always gonna hear it. You're always gonna be like, fuck, I wish I never paid attention. It's one of those things where like, oh shit, it's like one of those kicks. It's like, damn, bro. It's like, now I cannot stop hearing these crickets. It's like, fuck, man, now I can't stop hearing about this vacuum and shit, right? It's like, and that's where I'm at. It's like, that's where I'm about to end it. I'm like, damn, it's about that time where I want to end it. It's like it's getting late. It's getting colder, and it's time to let this body rest. It's like, I can't be up all night. I don't want to be up all night either. It's always nice to aprovechar for some sleep. Next day it's different. You don't want to be lazy. You don't want to be getting up at 2 in the tarde, you know, and aprovechar of sleep. Fuck, bro, get cozy and comfortable. Enjoy your bed, enjoy your bed, man. Somewhat you're somewhat privileged of hearing this. But nah, but nah. I just noticed that some of the paintings light up. It's like that's dope. It has that neon black light looking thingy. That's cool. And hopefully soon I'll make this room more vivid. I want to make it more flashy, more colorful. I want to make it feel more visually alive. Visually dope, man. That's my goal for right now. Just to make more podcasts and stuff like that. Pero, what's first. What goes first goes first. And then second, boom, let's do that. I feel like that's gonna spark up some more imagination, more drawings, more shirts, more skirts. Perhaps make some skirts and shit for clothing, for some shoes. I don't know. I'm been planning on doing some muñecos for sure. Some monos, some monas. Some weird creative shit. Some weird dope shit. I just can't wait till the day I finally sit down, which is gonna be really recent, and say, "Fuck it, today's the day that I'm gonna sketch out this creature." And it's gonna become to from paper to visual, and with no heart. And that's where I'm gonna end it. It's gonna be a sketch to some blueprints to getting that fabric cut out, being filled with cotton, and say, fuck it, that's my first stuffed toy. That's my first Arte Locura plushie. Bang, right there. Easy. Dope. Only one that I got. And great. What else? I only need one. I only need one, and that's it. I need one for myself. Maybe 2 or 3. And if people say, "Oh, where'd you get it?" Have a spare one and say, "Fuck it, here's another one." Only if I say, "Let's get some rest." Let's get some rest and call it the night. And remind myself when it's the creative time to say, let's put more thought into that idea right now. Know what I'm saying? and fall asleep, man. You guys have a good night. Tengan buenas noches, man.